We're recording. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with our student, and we're not going to name him. Mr. Green is what we'll call him.
Hello.
And Mr. Green is going to share with us how he created his skyscraper. So take it away. Oh, how did he do that? So you'll want to do it. Yeah,
This is going to be this is more going to be like a storage container.
No, you've got to do it to the other side too for your corners.
Oh, yeah. To inset and extrude and everything.
Just to make sure that you get them all.
And this isn't going to be the prettiest looking thing.
That's okay. So he's insetting with the I and hitting E to extrude and just pushing it in a little bit.
And see, now we have a box, a very ugly box about it, but...
Hey, it worked.
Thanks.
Okay. Oh. Okay, so what you're gonna, the first,
Cycles?
All right.
We
So
want cycles.
So Mr. Green, the first material that you're adding is going to add it to the whole object. So
okay, so
whatever, it doesn't matter, whatever.
Add material base.
Okay.
Let's go.
So that could be your black.
Node editor. Node editor. Where are you?
Hey, you know what? Can we keep it super simple for our viewers at home?
Oh, sorry.
Let's not use nodes right now, just because I want them to be able to understand the basics of it.
Let's just make this a big old black thing.
Yes, perfect.
Not that black.
But not that black. Okay, so then go ahead and grab, oops, I guess now you'll have to go into edit mode.
Oh, I see.
And now when you
then I just do this.
Yes. So
and
the
then
way
grab a new material and assign them.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. He selected multiple surfaces. He's in face select mode. Can you show him where that's at? Down at the bottom.
Right here.
Face select.
This is vertex. This is line, edge, vertex, and this is face.
And he held down shift. Yes.
I believe if you hold down Alt Shift, it does the entire, or you can, yeah, it does corners or something.
Ooh, that's fancy. Okay, so grab the space.
So assign.
You're going to add a new material, top right plus button, top right plus. There you go.
Plus.
And then new.
Oops.
That's okay.
New, and let's just call this window. And how about a hot pink? Would this work now? No.
You have to click assign. Now, oop. You gave up too quick on me there. Now assign.
Fine.
Okay, click off. Can you deselect and go into render view? Let's see what it looks like.
Oh, now it's working. So that's a much easier way than what I was doing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, heck yes. I'm learning from you too. To make an array,
so
go to the wrench.
Click the wrench, add modifier. It should be under the generate right around here where it says array. So this is going to be my x-axis array. So I'm going to name this x-axis.
So this is the array that you want to spread out along only the x-axis.
So let's give this, and this count decides how many different things there are going to be. So there's 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's do a 10, move this along. So now we have 10 objects.
Now let's look down where it says relative offset. The reason why the relative offset is 1 is because each of those cubes is 1 unit. So you have to have another one exactly 1 unit over starting from the starting point. So if you put your cursor to the very bottom left of that for me there. So move to the next block, and that's 1. And then that's 2, 3. So the offset is how many units over. Go ahead and change the relative offset to 2 so they can see that
So
Now they're offset with
by
a
2
whole,
boxes.
yeah, there's a big space in between. Okay, so that's why you have the offset on 1, so that you don't have a gap. Okay, perfect.
So now what we were doing is we were adding another array.
Wait, did you click apply or no?
I haven't applied yet because
you're waiting. He's waiting to apply. Okay.
Once you apply something, you cannot undo it.
Smart.
So this is going to be our y-axis.
Okay. And even though it looks like it's still part of the x, he's going to fix that.
So instead of the x, we're going to change this to 0 and y to 1. So now their y is going 1 unit this way along the green line. And we can turn this to be 10 cubes as well.
Okay, so notice over on the right-hand side, he has 2 separate array boxes that he's named. Good.
X-axis and y-axis.
So he's going to add another one.
So for the third array, we're going to name, can you guess, z-axis.
I guessed it.
0 and 1. So now, if we change this to 10, there should be 10 boxes on top of them.
And it's a perfect cube.
Of course, but if we wanted to make this, well, not that many, 50 boxes tall for a huge thing. And
type it in there
cool
for us. Type it in so we actually have 50.
50, not 540. That would crash my computer.
Right, we don't want to break it. That's perfect. We can actually fit it in our window.
And what's cool about this is if we go to render view and say we want to make a change to them and say we want them green, go to our materials, all of them turn green at once. Base,
Unbelievable.
we want a red base. Everything's changed. Kind of like the black base. So now, and you can basically just, and then we hit apply to make it look all nice and pretty.
Love it. Okay, so finally at this point, if we did, how do we get that nice background in there? I know that you added something. It went a little fast for me. I wouldn't be able to follow that. So can you slow that way down and show us how to create a background?
Okay, sure. So what I did is I went to, I got an HDRI. Basically, it's basically a 360 view of a world, kind of like a. Have you ever been to Google Maps? Like there's sphere things to where you can look around. And
well, how do you get an HDRI?
There's this free HDRI site called HDRI Haven that I went to. That's free, copyright free, and Creative Commons 0. So you can do whatever you want with them. Go here. And HDRIs. It might take a while for you to download them since they're kind of big. And I went to Skies and like say this one looked pretty nice. You're going down here, 4K, 8K, 1K, and you click these and it will download them for free. It's Creative Commons, so you can do whatever you want with it.
Nice.
You don't have to pay.
Okay, so then once you
I've already downloaded one in advance.
Does it matter what size?
Oops. The more K it is, the more detailed it is, but typically you can get away with some of the lower ones like 4K and 2K. Unless you're wanting to go insanely realistic, but the bigger they are, the longer it takes for them to load and the longer render times.
Okay. Gotcha. So I would start small and see what I'd get away with just to keep your computer.
Going back in Blender. So what I'm doing is so this is where you're starting out on. Let me just turn this to 264.
So he's in the camera, and the camera is for render.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to first, you saw me do this earlier, is I changed this to Filmic.
Now tell us about that tab. What is that tab right there that you're in?
This is the scene tab. This basically does all your audio, gravity for physics, and the color stuff. The main thing that I use this for is color to change this render view from default to Filmic. Filmic basically allows it to get a lot brighter without losing any information. And if you go
Yeah.
down here, you can change the contrast of it. Base contrast is usually good, but say you want it to be very high contrast, you change that. And gamma is how bright, and exposure is some camera thing that I don't know.
Okay.
So I went to here, changed it to Filmic.
Now, would we be able to see those changes if you were in render mode right now?
If we had, here, let's add in a lamp. A lamp, and let's turn this to sun lamp. Say we wanted this to be 100, and we didn't have it on Filmic mode.
It just went to sRGB.
Oh, that's
Oh,
fine.
okay.
So if we did this to sun lamp, just crank this up really high.
Okay.
You can see we're getting a lot of these like spots.
Distorted.
But if we go to Filmic,
No, you don't think so?
What's
What's it?
either way, I set this to Filmic.
If
You
you're
don't
in
have
render, what does it look like right now?
just grayness.
Okay, perfect. So increase your filmic and let's see what it does.
So gamma.
There. That's what you
So
were
you
talking
want it
about.
really bright? Crank this up.
So you can brighten it without using the lamp. And it's more, it brightens the entire screen and not just the part that the lamp is shining on. It doesn't create shadows. So if you're,
how I made this background is I went to the world settings, down here, and I clicked this surface called Use Nodes. You don't actually have to go to the node editor for this. Make sure this is on background, this surface, and then the color, you see this little dot right here? You want to click that and click Environment Texture. Go to your folders. Go and then go to where you keep your HDRIs. And let's just click this one. I already have this one in advance. Open image. And you should see we have an HDRI.
That is amazing. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, that's hilarious.
And then if you do strength, that's the thing. Basically, so do you know how to do the textures as well, like where I did the textures on the floors? Did I go for that too quickly?
Let's go ahead and create a floor. Just do it slowly so that anybody could do it.
0. That's camera. Shift A, mesh, plane. Why are you over here? Let's just...
What if you put your cursor to object? That way you could just move your cursor down.
Cursor to selected. And then selected to cursor.
There you go.
And just give us a big old thing. So what I did is I hit tab to go into edit mode. So before we add in a texture, you have to do a UV unwrap this. So I pressed U to go to UV unwrap.
What does that mean?
It basically means that it's figuring out how to, like, where to put all the textures and where to put everything.
And part of that is because there's different shapes. Like if you were going to put a texture on a sphere, that would be different than putting a texture on a flat plane, right?
Yeah, like if I wanted to UV unwrap this, it would take a lot more work than
now, isn't there a window that shows your UV unwrap stuff that you can open, an editor?
What I think it was.
There it is, UV image editor.
So let's say we UV unwrap this because I'm lazy and I don't want to go through all of this. Maybe this wasn't the best example.
Oh man, we better save what you have so far.
No. Wrong button.
Save it.
Save as demos.
Okay. So now
we
that you
got
saved it, we can
grabbed in
always
a
get back to
cube.
that step by step.
Okay, so I'm clicking new texture. And then I'm clicking this little sphere, which
Start
gives
with
us
where
all
you're at. He's in the materials tab.
created a new material. Let's just call this road.
Okay.
Then I clicked over here to where it says color. Click this button and went down in the texture to image texture.
Image texture.
Then after you've downloaded your texture and saved it to a folder, you want to go to your textures. And when you download it, they're going to give you a whole bunch of stuff like base color. This stuff you don't really want to get into until you go into nodes. So what you want is the base color. This is just the normal stuff without any of the bumps or reflectionness or anything.
Okay.
Press enter and it should be there.
Nice.
And then principled BDSFM.
Hold on, you're going a little fast. What are you doing and why?
I thought I could change this to principled because then I could. I changed this to principled because it just gives you a whole lot more options for.
What was it at before?
It was at the regular diffuse.
And what didn't you like about it?
The diffuse, it's great, but for if you wanted to give it any reflectionness or normals or anything, you have to go into a whole nother nodes area and and it's a lot more work.
Okay.
So principled BDSM basically just combines a lot of these things into one area.
Uh-huh.
So you click that.
And it pulls up all those options for you.
So basically roughness, you already had that in there. Metallic, that's basically your combination between glossy and diffuse, your metallic. The more
That's what we wanted to know right there. That is awesome. Question.
Yeah.
For the green windows. Is it too late for us to go in and add that text?
No, it isn't. We just go to our texture to where it says where was it? Principled BDSFM. Change this to metallic all the way. You usually want it to be either at 0 or 1, but for reasons, but it doesn't have to be. And this roughness,
I think
tiny.
0.1. For some reason, your asphalt isn't coming through anymore.
Oh, that's because when I did the principled BDSFM, I got rid of the texture. That's because you have to go to base color, do the same thing you did before for base color. We don't want an HDR. Like if we wanted to make this dirt for whatever reason, like you could do that. And now you should see that if it would load. Now it's very shiny because
I didn't see where you added the base color.
Oh.
Was that just right?
Let me go through it. So I went to my textures folder, asphalt. You can download a whole bunch of it.
I got you there. Hold on one second. Go back to your regular image. You don't have to do that again. Let me just. So can you scroll up on, yeah, so we can see where you're at. So you're on the road right now. Get back to your building. Where was the building at?
The building right now.
Is it just that you're selecting one or the other? Are you right-clicking on one and that's how you're getting it to switch back and forth?
Yeah. See?
Okay.
Right here and here.
All right. That wasn't totally.
It's kind of hard to see when you're in the rendered view.
Yes. So to get back to his windows, all right, he just right-clicked on the building, and to get back to the road, he right-clicks on the road.
Or left-click if you have the settings changed.
Yes, you can change the settings. Good job.
So
that is wonderful. So show us how this looks so far.
Need to get my asphalt back on.
Okay.
Shift Z, and then go. I don't have my camera set up, so oh well. So now.
So the background is an HDRI from HDRI Haven. And then Filmic is what we use to make the scene bright. And then CG Bookcase is where you can download free textures like asphalt. And then Principled BSDF is how we got the reflections.
Plus all sorts of other stuff that you can look into later. There's tons of tutorials online covering
And
them.
the reflection was from increasing, what was it, metallic or decreasing metallic?
Reflection.
Or roughness?
Metallic is, do you want it to be metal or not?
Okay.
Roughness is your shininess. See how it's at 0? It's like it's very shiny, almost kind of like a countertop. But if I crank this up to all the way, it's kind of more grainy and more something that you'd see on a road.
Okay. And then how do you get the reflection?
The reflection for like the windows?
For the ground, for the asphalt. How did you get that to reflect? Was that roughness?
That was just roughness.
Okay, so roughness is
combined with a metallic.
Shininess and reflection.
See, like if you look here, you can see that it's now reflecting the tree, and I have the metallic at 1 and the roughness at 0.
Oh my goodness, that is so cool.
But this is asphalt. We don't want asphalt to be a mirror. So I'm going to crank this down to 0 and crank this up a little bit.
You know what? I have to say that looks like the surface of water. And now in my mind, I'm thinking, how could we make ripples?
Ripples.
If you did the roughness 0 and the metallic 1, how could we throw a pebble into there and make a ripple?
Probably with some sort of physics, like fluid physics, probably.
You know what? I think this is a good place to stop. Can you go ahead and save this as another version?
Sure. Oh, crap.
Oh, shoot.
Well,
yeah, that's
I can
okay.
always redo it.
Yeah, well, anyway, we're here, and I think that would be a fun point. I don't know if you're interested in looking into it, but it's a fun concept to think that, wow, for an animation, what if something fell off the top of the building? What if somebody was standing at the top of the building and dropped something into the water?
That'd be cool, but I would suspect probably add in a fluid. I haven't looked at anything on the physics yet for fluids and everything.
Well, if you're interested, I'd love to learn, and yeah.
Thank you.
If you're interested in pursuing that would be awesome. So everybody, thank you, Mr. Green, for visiting with me today. I'm going to be sharing this video out with students, Mr. Green. I hope you don't mind.
Oh, it's fine.
It's been very informative. I love it. All right. Let me see if I can figure out how to stop this recording.